Have you ever had a teacher who was completely wrong about their own subject? My geography teacher, Mr. Peterson, confidently told our class that Australia was smaller than Greenland. When I politely raised my hand and corrected him, he laughed and said, "Nice try, kiddo, but I've been teaching this for 15 years. I think I know my continents." He pulled down the yellowed world map hanging behind his desk and pointed smugly at both land masses. "See? Just look at them. Greenland is obviously much bigger. This is 8th grade geography, not rocket science." The whole class turned to stare at me like I was the village idiot challenging Einstein. I tried explaining that map projections distort the size of land masses near the poles, making Greenland appear massive when it's actually much smaller than Australia. But he waved his hand dismissively and cut me off mid-sentence. "Don't embarrass yourself further, Sarah. This is basic geography that every educated person should know." For the next week, he kept making passive-aggressive little comments during class. "Remember, students, some people think they know better than their teachers who went to college for this." He'd glance directly at me while saying it. Kids started avoiding me at lunch, whispering that I was the girl who argued with teachers about obvious stuff. My best friend Emma even pulled me aside after class. "Just let it go," she whispered. "Everyone knows Greenland is bigger. You're making yourself look stupid." But I couldn't let it go because I knew I was right, and it was driving me absolutely crazy. Then came our unit test on world geography. I sailed through questions about capitals, rivers, and mountain ranges. Then I hit question 12. Which landmass is larger, Australia or Greenland? Explain your answer. I stared at that question for a solid 5 minutes, pencil hovering over the paper. Write the wrong answer and betray everything I knew was scientifically accurate, or write the correct answer and fail the test. My grade point average flashed before my eyes. I needed an A in this class to stay on honor roll. Finally, I took a deep breath and wrote, "Australia is larger. Australia covers 7.7 million square kilometers, while Greenland covers only 2.2 million square kilometers. The Mercator projection makes Greenland appear larger than it actually is." He handed back tests the next day with mine dramatically placed on top of the stack, marked with a giant red X and 5 points scrawled angrily across my answer. "Class, this is what happens when you don't listen during lessons," he announced, waving my paper around like evidence of my stupidity. Some students think they can just make up facts. 28 pairs of eyes stared at me with a mixture of pity and secondhand embarrassment. I wanted to crawl under my desk and disappear forever. My face burned hot with humiliation as snickers rippled through the classroom. That afternoon, I marched straight to the school computer lab, determination fueling every step. I spent 2 hours researching and printing articles from trusted sources. 20 pages of cold, hard facts with official measurements and scientific explanations. Australia, 7,692,024 square kilometers. Greenland, 2,166,086 square kilometers. Not even close. The next morning, I walked into class 15 minutes early and placed the thick stack of evidence on his desk without saying a single word. Then I sat down and waited, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. When Mr. Peterson arrived, he glanced at the papers curiously, then started reading. His confident smirk slowly melted away as he flipped through page after page of authoritative sources, all saying the same thing. His face gradually drained of color until he looked like he'd seen a ghost. The classroom fell dead silent as students filed in and noticed him frantically shuffling through the papers, his hands actually shaking slightly. You could have heard a pin drop. "Well," he finally stammered, clearing his throat awkwardly and avoiding eye contact with everyone. "I guess we all learned something new today. Sometimes even teachers need to update their knowledge." I got my 5 points back, plus extra credit for thorough research skills. But more importantly, he never questioned a student's fact-checking again and started double-checking his own lessons before class.